Hey, Laura J.E. Hamilton here, cleaning off a whiteboard that I filled this weekend as I took people through the hero's journey. And what I want to be able to do with you now is the same. Evidently, this is not meant to be because it's not working. And generally, if you live your life according to that principle, in that everything works out as and when it's meant to, things will flow a lot better for you because you stop trying to impose your will on the divine plan. Because as I mentioned to a guy yesterday, when I spontaneously decided to sign up for Facebook dating and then started getting messages and realized, oh wait, actually I'm really not interested in putting my energy into that, when my work, my legacy, the book that I have been working on and have not yet birthed is actually what I am most focused on, and putting the energy that is required to sift through all of the fabulous people that are online looking for a mate is unfair to the ones that are interested in me, because I'm really not actually focused on that right now at all. I'm very potentially open to a relationship, maybe, but at the same time, my focus really is on helping people understand the hero's journey that they are on. That life is not about becoming more than what we already are, but rather removing all of what we think we are in order to remember that we were enough before we got rode on. This is the tabula rasa theory, in that we were blank slates that came in here perfect and then were written on and told that those writings were what made us good enough. But actually, as Carolyn Mace, one of the spiritual teachers I subscribe to, says a lot about the tribal mind, and it really is that tribal mind that we buy into and believe are what make us enough, because the tribe said this is good and this is not, and as little good people we said, oh, okay, well, thank you for letting me know. May I change that about myself? May I close down that part of my inner kingdom? And a book that I am going to start reading that I've had for years and never actually went into is Entering the Castle by Carolyn Mace. And Entering the Castle is similar to a teaching that I have shared for years based on a book by Debbie Ford that I first heard her say about entering the castle from a different perspective, realizing that if you were to close your eyes and imagine yourself as your fabulous 4, 5, 6, 7-year-old self, imagine that version of you within the most magnificent castle that you have ever seen. And within this castle, it is light and it is bright and everything is beautiful, and you are basking in the glory of it all as you run, delighting and so excited through the corridors of this magnificent space, understanding that all of it is fabulous and that there is none of it that is not already present, because all of it is required in order to make it all that it is. And as you run through these corridors, excited and delighted about all of it, you hear a knock on the door, and you go down to see who it could possibly be, and when you open the door, it's one of your most beloveds. And they come in, be it your father, your mother, your grandparents, your sibling, and they say, oh, darling, this is stunning, as you take them around and show them all of this magnificent castle. And as you go room by room, showing them everything, holding nothing back, they say, oh, amazing, how beautiful, stunning. Oh, darling, all of that is phenomenal, and this space is just gorgeous, but that room, that closet, that piece of furniture, really not good enough to be in this beautiful space. And you say, oh, thank you. Thank you for saving me the embarrassment of sharing that part of myself with anyone else. Let me just close that off to make you more comfortable and not make anyone else uncomfortable in future. And as we do that with each of these guests that come in parading through our personality, which is the metaphor that is the kingdom, the inner kingdom, the castle within us that contains all of us, we knew it was all beautiful when we came in as a blank slate. And then based on the impositions of the tribe, of guests that came in to tell us what parts were good enough and which were not, based on what they had been told, the BS that they had been sold and bought, hook, line, and sinker. BS being your belief systems, of course, though you may also take it to the other end of the spectrum and just simply call it the BS that rules your world simply because you accepted it before you knew you had a choice. Or you became such a smart, fabulous, talented, gifted tribal member that you actually auto-domesticated yourself, as Don Miguel Ruiz says. And instead of letting someone else cast their judgments on aspects of your personality, you said, let me do that for you. Let me decide for myself based on what other people have already said must be good enough or is not. Let me take those judgments personally. Let me close down those rooms and not show those parts of myself off because someone's not going to like those. I already know that, so I'm just going to not show off that part. And as Debbie Ford's analogy that first introduced me to this concept that just completely had my jaw drop on the plane as I flew from England, where I was living, over to Orlando where I was attending a conference. My jaw dropped because I saw the kingdom of my own inner realm, and then the fact, as Debbie Ford says, happens to so many of us. I, you, we simply end up closing down so much of ourselves that we think we are only this broken down bungalow that needs a whole lot of TLC, forgetting that we are the owners of the whole kingdom. We think that we are just in a little trailer park and we've got all of the garbage piled all around it, or the broken down bungalow that needs a lot of love. What if we allowed our breath to take us back to the present moment? And what if we chose guides that were able to take us back through the inner kingdom of our inner realms to find those parts of ourselves that we closed off, we suppressed, denied, rejected, said weren't good enough? And what if we had a guide that could help us in reclaiming those parts of ourselves? Well, what I have been learning over the last few years and few months especially is that for some I will be that guide. There will be some that choose me to be the guide to take them into their inner kingdom, to retrieve those parts. And if you are resonating with me and want to go into the inner kingdom of your inner realm, I can take you there. I can guide you into those rooms and I can help you reclaim those parts of yourself that you said weren't good enough. Because that's what I've been doing for myself. And as someone that is so committed to being authentic, transparent, congruent, I had a lot of things to do for myself to get out of my own way, to take some of the BS off of my script, to separate myself from my story, the his story that I use to define myself, based in insecurity. Insecurity being not safe within myself. And if I wasn't safe in myself, how could I help someone else? That was the story I also had. You've got to be there already in order to guide others, Laura. Well, the thing is that enlightenment and empowerment is an uphill journey. And it's not about the destination. It's about the base camps along the way. Because if we've reached a base camp that's higher than someone else, we can absolutely guide them to that point. And what I say to you as a teacher that does work to really be authentic and share my truth and not worry about how I don't maybe look perfect in order to help someone else in their journey, realizing that none of us are perfect and that perfection is not the ultimate destination, that perfection is actually just a tool for procrastination. What I have learned by going through the valley of transformation that every hero has to go through is that it will break you open. It broke me open. And 2018 was one hell of a year for me because it had me take off veils that I had mistaken as skin. As I taught others through a book that I never actually got out because I had to write it so many times I could get here to be able to write it from a higher level perspective. And that's what I say to you, the hero's journey is all about. And if you are looking to clear the slate, whether it be with me or whether it be with someone else, I say to you, we cannot do it ourselves. I, during my darkest times, reached out to friends, people that really understood me, that could ground they could be that for me. I don't even have words. They were the rock while I flew in a downward spiral that ultimately allowed me to lift myself out of it. We need others. We can't do it on our own, and we weren't meant to. We were not born as islands. We came here together because we're better when we connect. We're better when we come together. And there is no part of the hero's journey that can be walked in its entirety with someone else. All of us have to walk it alone, but all of us will connect with the perfect people at the perfect time through the darkest times as well. And during the lightest and brightest and most exciting points too. Who we surround ourselves with matter. And I hope that if this message resonates for you, subscribe to my YouTube channel and stay connected because I've got a lot more coming. This message was not meant to be this, but when my Windex didn't work for me to be able to clear it down fast in order to get to the message that I thought I wanted to deliver, I got out of the way and went with the flow. And when we go with the flow, we ultimately wind up where we were meant to be. I hope this message serves you. I would love for you to comment below what it means to and for you. I hope that you will share this message with someone else that maybe is going through that valley of transformation, that is seeing them transform from being the caterpillar into the butterfly. Being the caterpillar in that state of transformation thinks that they're about to die when their former self as the caterpillar is. And yet, the butterfly, the state of embodiment of a higher level vibration, is about to be theirs. And yet, in that phoenixing process of death of the former self and rebirth as the new them, that terrifying process is where all of us, at one stage or another, falter and either run straight back home, where we weren't comfortable in the first place, or that sees us turn to a coping mechanism that's going to take us into a downward spiral. We get to choose. We're that powerful. We don't have to choose it all on our own. We need support. We do have to choose it all on our own, actually. But we can have support, and we can make an informed choice based on a higher perception, a higher perspective from someone who has been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, is wearing it, and can guide us to the shop. I don't know whether I'm your guide, but what I know for sure is you're not in this alone. The fact you found this message now, whether it was shared with you or whether you organically came to it, simply means that you are in a process of deconstruction to reconstruct. And you are in a magnificent season of your life that is terrifying, if I don't say so myself, because I was there. And I'm sure at some point, hopefully later than sooner, I'll go through it again, because we all do. We are continually transforming. It's taking the spiral staircase, as Matt Kahn says. It's taking that staircase to see where we were from a different vantage point. Each time we elevate our consciousness, our awareness, we can see things from an entirely different perspective, and yet we are at the same, we're in the same place. It's a miraculous journey, and I hope that you will walk it with me. Subscribe to this channel and stay in touch. Comment below. I read every one of them, and I will be getting back to you, and I will be starting a membership community this year. I'm not setting any dates. I will be letting my book out, finally giving birth to it, becoming the book mama that I thought I was going to become 2 years ago when I was not ready. I had a lot of growing into my own skin to do, and still do. My dream is continually getting bigger. My dream is to be part of a movement for inner peace that is actionable. It's huge. I didn't know what to do with that, specifically, especially when I was so busy running from myself that I couldn't run to that which I desired. That's part of the process of learning to get out of your own way. It's the process that I've been in, and if you're in it, know that you're not alone, although you are going to have to walk parts of that journey on your own. No one can come with you for the entire thing, because your path has not yet been blazed. That's what you're doing now. No one knows what your vision is, because you're the one that has to bring it to life, as am I. But what I know for sure is that whatever you have inside of you that calls you in your darkest moments, that says you can do it, that is your soul. That is the God spark within. The grand overall designer that you embody in order to express, to allow it, he, she, to experience and express itself as the grand overall designer of your life, so that it can know what it is and isn't. You cannot know what you are until you know what you are not. The sun cannot experience its own magnificence until it experiences something that is not it. We are all that great. We just haven't owned our greatness yet. That's what the hero's journey is all about. And that's what the video I'll do next, that I had intended to do now, will be about. And yet it's also to say that going with the flow gives more than what our plan could. Because sometimes when we think that we're ready to do that which we set out to do, actually we had another video to do before that message was ready. Be willing to be in the mess in order to deliver the message, my friend. I hope this serves you. Laura J. Namaste. The light in me honors the light in you. Thank you.